Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my reading plans for September. It is still really hot and humid in New York City, but can you tell I'm internally dying for it to be fall? Kids are heading back to school in September. Fall is my favorite season of the year, and I cannot wait to dive into it. I have a lot of books to read this month. Who's surprised? Absolutely nobody, probably, because my TBRs are always a little bit out of control. So yeah, I have a lot to pick up. I do have some things rolling over from August because I went on vacation in August and I did not get to all of the books that I hoped to get to. Again, what else is new, really? Let's go ahead and start with all the books I'm reading for book clubs and read-alongs. I've got several of them this month. First up, for my Patreon book club, every month my patrons get to vote on a book that we read together. The genre does switch. For September, we are reading a sci-fi book, and that book is The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I am really excited for this. It is back to school time, so reading a classic of science fiction, a modern classic of science fiction, I think is perfect. It is on my list of books that I wanted to read this year anyway, and I have really enjoyed what I've read from Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm excited to pick this up because it's one of her best known and beloved books. So we will be reading The Left Hand of Darkness. If you are interested in joining us, and I guess I should say, because I haven't really said this in a video yet, but FYI, if you want to join my book club, there are now 2 ways to do that. My haunted ring light is back. Also stay tuned. There may or may not be haunted ring light merch coming because there have been requests, so I am working on it. We will talk about today, but yeah, apparently in some countries there are viewers who have a hard time with Patreon because of the way that they do money and they won't take their currency. So I figured out a way to offer some of the same benefits I offer on Patreon through YouTube channel memberships, albeit in a more limited capacity. So if you have that problem, you don't want to use Patreon and you want to check out the memberships option, you can use the join button down below. Or if you want to see more of the sort of full options and perks on Patreon, you can use the link in the video description. So just a heads up, if you're interested in joining us, this is the book that we will be reading for the month of September and discussing at the end of the month. Then some of my higher tier patrons get to suggest and vote on books they want to see me do vlogs for. And the book that they picked for me this month, I'm kind of happy about because it's short, but I have some ideas of what I'm going to do with this for video purposes. But it is a short story, Galatea by Madeline Miller. I don't know if they realize it's a short story, but it is a short story from the author of Song of Achilles about a skilled marble sculptor in ancient Greece who has been blessed by a goddess who has given him his masterpiece, the most beautiful woman the town has ever seen. Now his wife, he expects Galatea to please him, be obedience and humility personified, but she has desires of her own and yearns for independence. So it sounds really interesting. It's not very long. It's a really cute little copy of it. It's not very long. It's like 56 pages. So I will be reading this in conjunction with some other things for a video. Stay tuned. This year, Leanna from Leanna's Library and I have been doing a read-along of the entire Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. It has been a journey, and we are now about to step into books that neither of us have ever read. Most of the other ones we had read or partially read many years ago, but this month, we are up to book 9 in the series, Chainfire, which is the start of a trilogy that's part of the series, but a little different. I don't know much about it, but I have heard that it's better, which is good because I really didn't like the last one. I think Naked Empire is the last one we read, so we'll see how this goes. I will be continuing with this read-along. Then for Chapter 3 podcast, which I co-host along with Leanna from Leanna's Library and Izzy from Happy for Now, Leanna and I are doing a year-long read-along of all the First Law books by Joe Abercrombie, and we are continuing in September with A Little Hatred. Very excited for this. Some new content I've never read before. This is the first book in the newest trilogy, so stay tuned. We'll have a whole episode devoted to non-spoiler and spoiler discussions of A Little Hatred. I know that this one is more like industrialized than the original First Law trilogy. It takes place years in the future. I don't know a whole lot more than that, but I'm looking forward to it. Then with Mel from A Book Fiend Called Mel and Kara from A Wild Book Garden, we're doing a read-along of the Graceling series. That is hosted over on Mel's channel. I'll link her in the video description if you want to follow along, but this month we are going to be reading Fire by Kristen Kishore. I do not yet have a physical copy of it. I need to go and pick one up, but it is on my TBR for the month, so I will be getting that. And then the final thing that I'm reading for a read-along slash video type thing is the very first Vampire Academy book by Rochelle Mead. If you're not aware, in September we are getting a TV show on Peacock that a lot of people are looking forward to, and so me and Izzy from Happy for Now are going to be doing a podcast episode where we read the first Vampire Academy book and watch the first 4 episodes of the TV show and discuss. So stay tuned for that. It should be interesting, but I will be reading this. I never did read this original series. I did read her spin-off series and I remember liking it. It was very soapy and melodramatic, and I'm assuming this is going to be more of the same, but I will be reading at least book 1. This last month I did a review video for Silvia Moreno Garcia's latest book, and in the comments of that video a lot of you expressed interest in a reader's guide to Silvia Moreno Garcia, which I'd been thinking about doing for a while, so it is coming. She's got a reprint of her debut novel coming in September, so I'm tentatively planning to do it near that release date, but I want to catch up a little more with her backlist first. I have read most of her books, but I have not read Prime Meridian, which is a sci-fi novella, so I'm planning on reading that, and then I am also planning on reading Signal to Noise, which is her debut that I have not yet read. So I'm going to be reading those 2 in preparation for doing a reader's guide to Silvia Moreno Garcia. I just kind of want to have read all of her backlist before I tell you where to start, but if you've wondered what is her deal, because she writes across so many different genres, what books might work for me, what books might not, I've got you covered. It will be coming sometime in September. That's the plan. Then I have some physical books for review that I'm planning to get to. Rolling over from my August TBR is The Genesis of Misery by Neon Yang. I am really looking forward to this, but it comes out in September. I wasn't able to get to it in August, so I'm planning to definitely read it this month. This is Neon Yang's first full-length novel. It is a queer sci-fi reimagining of Joan of Arc, so Joan of Arc in space, which sounds amazing, and I have enjoyed what I've read from Neon Yang so far. I'm anticipating really liking this as well. Also rolling over from August is The Unbalancing by R.B. Lemberg. This is another one that actually comes out in September. Wasn't able to get to it in August. It was sent to me for review from Tachyon Publications, and it's the first full-length novel from the acclaimed Birdverse, and I think it's like a queer sci-fantasy, I want to say. It sounded interesting. I am going to read it. Then I've got a few shorter books for review. First up is one from an indie author. This is The Heartbeat of a Million Dreams by Halo Scott. They had reached out to me and this book sounded interesting. As far as I know, it's got a sapphic sci-fi romance in it, it's got neurodivergence, it's got an interesting sounding plot, a lot of action, so I'm going to be trying this out and I'll let you guys know what I think. Thank you to the author for reaching out. Then I have Into the Riverlands by Nevo. I absolutely adore this entire series of novellas and really anything that Nevo writes. I am a fan of Nevo's writing and I am sure this is going to be great. It officially comes out in October, but I am planning on reading this one in September. And then we have Into the Wind-Racked Wilds by A. Deborah Baker, aka Shannon McGuire. This is the 3rd book in her Up and Under series, which is a spin-off from Middle Game, and it's like very meta because this is the series of children's books mentioned in Middle Game. And they have kind of a fantastical, almost middle grade vibe to them. I've really enjoyed the other 2 books and I am excited to read this one. This also comes out in October. 2 more physical books for review. I did tell you this was going to be quite the TBR, did I not? Coming out in September is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. I'm very excited about this. I feel like it's going to be excellent. It's a steamy plus-size holiday rom-com about an adult film star who is semi-accidentally cast as lead in a family-friendly Christmas movie and the former bad boy pop star she falls in love with. Also, Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone seem like kind of an amazing team-up for this sort of book. That sounds incredible. I am hoping it lives up to my expectations. The final physical book going on my TBR is Ruination by Anthony Reynolds. This is a League of Legends novel from Orbit that they sent along, and it sounds really interesting. It's an epic tale of magic, revenge, and an empire on the verge of ruin, following a young woman whose young narcissistic uncle becomes king, and she vows to temper his destructive instincts as his loyal confidant, advisor, and military general. But her plans are thwarted when an assassin's poisoned blade strikes his wife, afflicting her with a malady for which there is no cure. As her condition worsens, the uncle descends into madness and grief, threatening to drag the kingdom down with him, and she makes a desperate gambit to save the kingdom, searching for the long-lost Blessed Isles, rumored to hold the Queen's salvation if only she can find them, but there's corruption, and it sounds like fun. It sounds like a fun fantasy adventure. So thank you so much to Orbit for sending that along. Lastly, I do have quite a few ebooks on Netgalley that I'm hoping to get to this month. I may not get to all of these. I probably won't get to all of these, but these are the things that are kind of on my pile of possibilities for September. And I did not write down the author names, so I will pop them on the screen and they will be in the video description if you are looking for them. But if I remember the author, I will tell you. In some cases, I may not. First up, we have Lucky Girl. I think this is by M. Rickert. It is a Krampus novella. So a horror holiday novella. I don't remember a lot of the details. It's from Tor.com. It sounded like a good time. I said yes. I think it will be fun. Then we have House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This is a book I am highly anticipating and actually have a finished copy pre-ordered, so let's hope it lives up to my expectations. It is a gothic horror novel with a woman of color in a house of vampires. I think it's like vampires and gothic horror. I mean, it like all the things I love. I'm so ready for fall and all the gothic vibes, so expect to see quite a bit of that this month. Then we have Leech, which is a gothic sci-fi horror blend that sounds amazing. This cover is incredible. I think it's a debut novel also coming out from Tor.com. Again, all the gothic vibes. This is what I need in my life right now. Yes. Continuing with the trend of horror, we have Man-Made Monsters, which is an anthology, I believe, of short stories by an Indigenous author. I don't remember exactly, but this looked really intriguing. Again, it is horror from Indigenous authors. You know, I'm a fan of Stephen Graham Jones, so I'm hoping that this one will be interesting as well. Then for a gothic horror slash thriller, we have Little Eve by Katrina Ward. I didn't read Last House on Needless Street, but this premise looked really interesting. The cover is giving me all of those fall gothic vibes that I'm wanting. Again, really excited to try something from her because I know a lot of people seem to enjoy her writing and the premise of this sounded interesting. It says it is a heart-pounding tale of faith and family with a devastating twist set on the wind-battered Isle of Altanahara off the wildest coast of Scotland. A clan prepares to bring about the end of the world and its imminent rebirth. This just sounds like it's going to give me all the things I want. I also really enjoy a cult book, and this has cultish vibes, so I think it's going to be good. Next up is Witchful Thinking by Celestine Martin. This is a paranormal romance novel. It's got black love, it's got witchy vibes. It sounds really cute, and I'm excited to give it a try. It sounds really charming. It's like small town romance vibes plus witchy stuff. I feel like it's going to be great. Then we have The Makeup Test by Jenny Howe. This, another thing I'm really excited to read. It looks like it's going to be a plus-size romance with two battling PhD candidates. So nerdy romance, plus-size heroine. Yes, I feel like this month is giving me all the things that I'm obsessed with, which is very exciting. And then the last thing that I might pick up this month is my arc of Pretty Dead Queens by Alexa Dunn. This one is a YA small town murder mystery that was inspired by Murder, She Wrote. I feel like it's going to be good. I've heard some good things. Full disclosure, Alexa and I are internet friends, so, you know, take my views with a grain of salt, but I do enjoy her writing. I think it's fun and soapy, and I feel very hopeful that this is going to deliver what I'm looking for. It doesn't come out till October, but I'm hoping to read it in September. Whew, so that was a lot. Those are all the books going on my TBR for September. Again, am I going to get to all of them? I don't know. Will some of these get swapped out for other things? Very likely, but this should at least give you a pretty good idea of the things I am hoping to get to. I also have a few different kind of secret TBR projects I'm going to be working on, including some of these books, plus some other stuff. So there's a lot happening. I'm really hoping that kids being back in school is gonna allow me to do all the things I want to do. We'll see how it goes. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for your question of the day, let me know what you are most excited about heading into fall. I just want to wear all the cozy sweaters. I want all the like fall coffees and candles and pumpkins and witchy stuff. I'm so ready for all of it, and all of these fun witchy holiday type books are exactly what I'm wanting right now as well. Let me know if there's anything you're looking forward to heading into the fall season. If you guys like this video, it does help if you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.